sights and sounds. And so tonight we are going to take a relaxing, whispered wander through some of these beautiful environments. But first, I have something to tell you that you probably want to hear, and that is that I am doing a giveaway. Yes, the game's publisher has very kindly sent over 6 keys for the Guild Wars 2 Ultimate Collection, and you could be the lucky winner of one of them. It is very easy for you to enter. There's a link down in the video description. You can click through and find out everything you need to know about entering, but it's very, very simple. The Guild Wars 2 Ultimate Collection comes with not only the End of Dragons expansion that you're seeing here, but also the previous 2 expansions and the base game, plus all kinds of fun extras and cosmetics, and some premium currency to buy more fun stuff, if you like, in the game. So, head on through, click on that link, and get signed up for the giveaway. It's going to run for 1 week from the time of this video's publication. I wish you the best of luck. Alright, so with that said, it's time to explore some of End of Dragons. We begin our wander today here in front of this gorgeous looking shrine. We are on Shing Jea Island, which is a large island off the west coast of Cantha. Cantha is a nation in the far south of the Guild Wars 2 world, and it draws inspiration from numerous real-world Asian cultures. It's a beautiful landscape full of incredible terrain and cultural richness, and I'm looking forward to seeing some of that with you here today. Veterans of Guild Wars 1 might remember Cantha as the setting for that game's Factions expansion, and that was one of my very favorite expansions for that game as well. I played a lot of Factions, and so coming back to Cantha in Guild Wars 2 is a long overdue homecoming for me, and probably many other Guild Wars 1 veterans as well. In Guild Wars 2, Cantha has been separated or kept separate from the rest of the world that the rest of the game takes place in for over 100 years. And so the people of the rest of the world really don't know much about what's happened here in Cantha in the meantime. So this is our time, our first time as players coming back to Cantha, and some things have stayed the same, other things have changed quite a bit. One of the things that has changed is the arrival of Dragonjade technology. That's what this golem here is powered by, and you will see throughout our wander here a real mishmash of traditional looking architecture and rural looking landscapes alongside high-tech Dragonjade technology like that golem, like all kinds of other tech that you'll see. Look at the painting on the underside of this gate, isn't that beautiful? So much detail. introduces is something new to the players of this game. The rest of the world has not developed the Dragonjade tech, so it makes for a very unique setting that I believe the developer, well, maybe they're not calling it Jadepunk, but I'm calling it Jadepunk, and other people are calling it Jadepunk, because you get this sort of Asian-influenced cyberpunk vibes, especially in the capital of Cantha, New Canaan City, which we will not be visiting today, but it is sort of like a modern Jadepunk metropolis, and perhaps we shall visit it in a future video. But today we are in Seitan village, which, as I said, is located on Shing Jea Island, off the coast of the mainland of Cantha. And Xing Jae Island is an idyllic kind of place. You can see it's got all kinds of traditional architecture across the way there. That is Shing Jea Monastery. We'll head over there in a little bit, but it's one of the most prominent landmarks on this island. Xing Jae Island is visitable in the original Guild Wars factions, and in fact it's where you start your journey in Cantha. And the particular place where we are right now is a settlement called Seitan Harbor in Guild Wars 1, and it just so happens that it was one of my favorite places in Guild Wars 1. I just really loved the vibes here. It's just such a gorgeous landscape, and it's a little bit embarrassing, but I actually spent some time writing a fanfic back in the day where my character found himself in Seitan Harbor, and I took screenshots along with it and sort of put together a little picture story. That never saw the light of day, but just goes to show that this really is one of my favorite areas of the world of Tyria, and has been for a great many years. Oh, we've got a ghost friend here. Look at that. Huh. I don't know quite why, but you will see that there are many spirits roaming around Seitan Village. This is a vista, which is one of the unique features of Guild Wars 2's maps, where you can interact with them and you get a short little cutscene that shows off some of the beautiful environmental design. Somebody just bombing along on a skimmer down there. And these vistas are scattered throughout the world and really showcase some of the most gorgeous places in these zones. Some more jade tech over here. This is some kind of jade bot station, I believe. More of that gorgeous painting on the underside of the gate. I should point out that, of course, this is an MMO, a massively multiplayer online game, and so I am wandering around with other players here. You will very likely see other players around the zone as we traverse it. Of course, I can't control what other players are doing, but hopefully they remain reasonably chill for us and cooperate with our relaxing wander. There's a few down there right now, actually. It looks like they're headed up here. This guy's stopped. I don't know if he's looking at us or what. He's got a pretty cool hammer. He's on a raptor. You might notice the raptors are one of the many mounts that are available in this game, and mounts are something that Guild Wars 2 does so well. There he goes. Traversing these landscapes is an absolute joy. The various mounts all have different modes of traversal, different strengths and weaknesses. There's a couple more raptors here. And there's a very special mount that has been added with this expansion, which we will take a closer look at in a little bit. But we'll come back for that. First, why don't we take a little stroll through Seitan village here. As you can see, there are many spirits wandering throughout the village, and no one seems to be particularly bothered by this, and truthfully, I'm not quite sure what the reason is for all the spirits, but they only seem to come out at night. If we were here during the day, we would not see them. I'm sure there's a fascinating lore reason for that, but I have yet to discover it. I love the design of Seitan Village, just the colors and sort of cluttered buildings and streets, the gorgeous strings of lanterns, banners and kites, and all kinds of beautiful adornments. If you happened to watch one of my previous Guild Wars 2 videos, the one in which I explore the labyrinthine cliffs, some of the decorations and aesthetics here might look a bit familiar to you, and that's because the Zephyrite in Labyrinthine Cliffs are, I believe, loosely or distantly related to the Canthans here in End of Dragons. Serene little harbor. Oh, there goes another player on their skimmer. The skimmer is another one of the mounts in the game. As the name suggests, it skims over the surface of the water and underneath the surface as well, once you've upgraded it enough. Oh, I didn't realize this ghost was just standing here watching us. Hello, ma'am. I love this mishmash of traditional and modern. These bits and pieces of the green-hued jade tech scattered throughout these otherwise fairly rural-looking settings makes for a fascinating contrast. Up ahead you can see a giant bell hanging in a ring of jade there. Oh, and we've got some kind of performance troupe here. Dancers, perhaps. It looks like they're warming up, preparing for some kind of performance. Of course, they too are all spirits. Fascinating. Perhaps over the course of the story, some of the lore behind these spirits will be revealed. Guild Wars 2 has these great, beautiful, open maps that are very rewarding to explore, all kinds of little secrets and points of interest scattered throughout them. That's especially true in End of Dragons, in which these maps have little hidden treasure chests, which are much like the Korok puzzles in Zelda Breath of the Wild, which you might be familiar with. Just little environmental. Suddenly, sky scale just running past us there. Little environmental puzzles that, when solved, reward treasure, which is pretty fun. These raptors, which we walked past earlier, they're a Canthan variety of raptor. They've got a more sort of Asian look to them, I suppose, like something out of mythology. They also serve as a taxi service to help players move around Cantha. This is a Jade Tech waypoint, another way of traversing around the landscape, or teleporting, really, from one place to another. Very convenient. And over here, we have that other special mount I promised to show you. This is a brand new mount with End of Dragons. It is a siege turtle, and it is a cooperative mount. One player pilots the siege turtle. The other is in charge of the Jade Tech cannons that you see mounted on either side, and each has abilities that help the other. So the one doing the firing can help the driver improve the stability of the siege turtle, and the one doing the driving can help the gunner as well. It's a pretty cool looking new mount. I've not unlocked mine yet, but I look very forward to when I do. Gosh, another beautiful gate. I just love how detailed the architecture is. Right ahead of us here, this is one of those little Korok-like puzzles just in front of this crane statue. They make that lovely little flute noise to alert you to their presence. I call them Korok puzzles. Obviously, they're not actually Koroks. That's a Zelda thing, but it's similar in spirit. We've got all manner of items here. Looks like a tea set, perhaps. Right next to this very high-tech looking upgrade bench. And this really crazy looking umbrella. Check it out. Like I said, I just love the contrast between the Jade technology and oh gosh, that's a giant spider that has no business being here. What's that doing? Just wandering around. No one seems to care. This is another piece of Jade Tech. It's like a news holocast, I guess. She would be saying something, but I do have the voices turned down, so as not to disturb our whispered wander here. But same with these characters, they would be talking. This is a Tengu. The Tengu are a native bird-like species of Xing Jae Island. And over their history, humans and Tengu have warred, sometimes quite bitterly, but there appears to have been a peace achieved in the time during which Cantha was separated from the rest of the Tyrian continent, and now the Tengu seem quite integrated with the people of Cantha. There are in fact Tengu in the rest of Tyria as well. You do encounter them periodically. I love the mosaic on the ground here. It's pretty. And these are the gates to Zen Daijun, which is a sacred valley, an ancient temple site of the Canthans. Resides within that valley. It's full of all kinds of beautiful bamboo and waterfalls and temples and things. But we might have to save that for another wander, because today I would like to take us to Shing Jea Monastery, which, as we saw earlier, is in the distance there, that magnificent gate rising over Seitan Harbor. wander through fields of grass and flowers. Cherry blossom trees line the path. Oh, another spirit up ahead, just going about her business, whatever spirits do. The pale moon just shrouded by clouds in the sky above. Isn't it pretty? One of my very favorite things so far about End of Dragons and the Cantha locales I've explored are just how vibrant and colorful they are. Oh, look, a bunny rabbit. Cute. The use of color in End of Dragons is gorgeous, just breathtaking, combined with the scale of these landscapes. It's really quite something. You might be able to hear just over here. Yes, another one of those little environmental puzzles right here. That beautiful flute sound. This vantage point provides a lovely view back across Seitan Village and Seitan Harbor. You can see the building where we began our wander, that beautiful giant cherry blossom tree across the way. Little ships making their way in and out of the harbor down below. You saw that other player on a skimmer earlier. The skimmer is a waterborne mount, but another one of the new features that has been added in this expansion is the use of skiffs. So skiffs are player boats. I think that was another player that just jumped past us. Player boats, watercraft that can be used to traverse water bodies, of course, but also as platforms for fishing, because fishing is another feature that has been added with this expansion. I've done a little bit of fishing so far, and it seems like a fairly relaxing kind of experience. Well, sort of. It can also be kind of aggravating when the fish get away from you, but there's an entire mastery track, which is basically like a skill line associated with fishing and using your skiff as well. And one of the really cool things that the developers have done is gone back into all the old zones. Gosh, look at this beautiful ceiling here. I know I keep focusing on the ceilings, but they're really pretty. I just love the patterns and the color and the details. I mean, many players probably don't even see this because they never even bother to look up, but it's breathtaking. Gorgeous. As I was saying, the developers have gone back to the old zones from years past, and they've actually added fish and fishing holes to many of those bodies of water, and so you can travel all across Tyria and use your skiff to go fishing and hunting down collections of fish. There are dozens and dozens of different species of fish of varying rarities, from common ones all the way up to legendary fish, which you can acquire. They also provide you with crafting materials that you can use in cooking and such, of course. It's just a neat little way of enhancing some of the older zones in the game. Can't quite get a good view across here thanks to the railings in the way, but I reckon there'll be another point up ahead where we can get a clearer view back to the village. can hear another one of those little puzzles somewhere nearby. I'm not sure where. Probably just up the hill here. Listen to the wind blowing through the grass and the bamboo. And this, my friends, is Shing Jea Monastery. Xing Jae Monastery is renowned across Cantha for training its acolytes in the arts of combat and scholarship, and preparing them for adventures across Tyria. There's another one of those mosaics. Look, gorgeous ceramics or glass, I'm not sure, but very pretty. And then these mighty jade statues glittering in the moonlight. I'm not even sure what these are supposed to be, but they are mighty looking beasts. Part lion, part dragon, part... I don't know. They're incredible though. Guarding the gates to Xing Jae Monastery here. I think over here, yeah, I think we'll be able to get a better look back across the harbor. This little pylon here is another new feature that's been added. It's a zip line. You can see it shows you where the zip line goes down to. It's a quick way to traverse across to the other side of the harbor, the village where we were earlier. And to do so, you have to use a jade bot, which is a little floating companion that can be outfitted with all sorts of upgrades that make your life a little easier around Tyria. They can help you with the zip lines. They can revive you if you're downed. They can give you health boosts and all kinds of other stuff. And the jade bots are another mastery track, a line of skills that you can unlock through gaining experience and collecting mastery points, which are scattered throughout the world of End of Dragons and rewarded for completing various tasks and achievements. Such incredible statues. Love their design. Well, shall we head on through these imposing gates and enter Xing Jae Monastery? I think we should. Guarded by those giant statues, but also by jade tech golems you can see on either side of us as we enter here. I've not got that far in the story yet, but I get the feeling that part of the storyline of End of Dragons, and this isn't really a spoiler, this is just speculation on my part, but I think part of the storyline will be about that tension between the traditional ways and progress, technological progress, as embodied by the Dragonjade technology. This is such a gorgeous scene. Just the cherry blossom trees, all the flowers, the moon in the sky. It's a collection of students underneath this tree here, attending a lesson, I guess. Everywhere you turn on Xing Jae Island is just dripping with color and gorgeous sights. It is absolutely one of the most visually pleasing areas I've ever seen in this game, or any game really. Now granted, Guild Wars 2 is coming up on a decade old now, believe it or not. And so it is starting to show its age in some ways. You know, the technical limitations of the engine are unfortunately pretty hard amazing job squeezing as much out of this older tech as they possibly can, and I think the results speak for themselves. The landscapes, the vistas, it's all breathtaking. I think I've used that word too much, but it really encapsulates how I feel about the visual design of End of Dragons. Look at the scale of Shing Jea Monastery. What an incredible ancient structure, steeped in history. Again, in Guild Wars Factions, which came out way back in 2007, I think, 2006 or 7. This is your starting area, so coming back to Xing Jea is quite nostalgic for me. I do believe it's starting to get lighter here. I think the dawn may have arrived. Intimidating Jade Tech Golem here. Very cool design. Look at the color just bursting forth from the monastery itself. Its massive banners waving gently in the wind at all the vegetation. Stunning. Yes, I do believe the dawn has arrived or is rapidly approaching. I had originally intended for this to be a daytime wonder because everything is so colorful during the day here, but of course, being an MMO, I have no control over the day or night cycles, and when I sat down to wander and record here, it just so happened to be nighttime, so we got mostly a nighttime wander, but we got a little bit of daylight here now, just in time to showcase these incredible Dragonjade phoenixes, perhaps. They look kind of like phoenixes or eagles of some kind, like mythological beasts. Very beautiful. Oh, we've got some more Tengu here. They come in many different forms. The fellow on the left here has a very pointy beak, some sort of tusks almost. More of those gorgeous mosaics scattered with cherry blossoms. Oh yes, here's another Tengu. These are some of my favorites. These ones, these big fluffy boys. This one's talking very animatedly with this guard here. But they're cute little faces and their big fluffy heads. That would probably be very offensive if I said that within earshot of that Tengu. But I can't deny what I see. This up here is, I believe, the royal court at Xing Jea Monastery. Why don't we take a peek inside? This player here has a very cool outfit and a really neat longbow. It's one of my favorite things to do is to ogle other players' cool armor and gear. So, the royal court here is striking. There's a couple of heavily armored guards guarding the throne, I suppose, and then this incredible jade statue, leaping fish. They're very colorful guards. They've got jade shields, it looks like. here is very grunty. Lots of noises of affirmation or disagreement. We'll leave them to whatever they're debating there. But that does actually bring up something else I wanted to draw attention to, which is the gorgeous soundscapes of these environments, which you have been hearing all the way through. My whispering notwithstanding. Hopefully you've been enjoying the sounds of the sighing wind and the chiming bells and chirping insects and all the other good things, flowing water. Here, why don't I shut up for a moment so you can appreciate the soundscape here. It's quite subtle, but there's the sound of distant voices speaking and waves, wind, and of course the music as well has been lovely. What I've heard of it so far has really impressed me. My understanding is it's inspired by and features a great deal of traditional South Korean instrumentation. And it has absolutely been a standout part of this expansion so far. Normally, or often, in my wandering videos like these, I actually turn off the music because sometimes I find that it can sort of impact the ASMR. But here I just had to leave it on because it's so lovely and in some cases quite serene as well. Back when we were wandering in Seitan village. It's a little more upbeat here, but that seems fitting given that this is a bustling monastery school. And you know, it's the daytime now. We get a lovely view back to the main gates from up here. Out to sea from up here, you can see all kinds of standing sea stacks out there and the snow-dusted mountains at our backs and off to our right there, which comprise a large part of Xing Jae Island as well. Perhaps that's somewhere else that we will have to go any future wander. There are so many beautiful places to visit, and this is just one of many zones in the game. But Xing Jae Island is one of my favorite places in all of Guild Wars 2. It's absolutely beautiful. And once again, if you would like to experience this for yourself, if you are not already playing the game, please make sure you go and you enter the giveaway. You could win one of 6 copies of the Guild Wars 2 Ultimate Collection, which comes with all of the expansions, including this latest End of Dragons. It's a great way to kickstart your journeys in the world of Tyria. That link is down below in the video description. Very easy for you to find and enter, so please go do so. I wish you the best of luck with it. And I should point out, if you do join us in Tyria, if you already play or start playing, you are welcome to join our guild. We have a community guild in Guild Wars 2, which you can check out on our Discord. The link to the Discord is once again down in the video description. Check out the Guild Wars channel there. We would love to have you with us. Alright, my friends, thank you so much for joining me here on this wander today. I hope that you enjoyed